Overload looks completely broken when you first see it. Here are 10 practical tips to actually use this playstyle effectively. Tip 1. Don't think of Overload as possession game. The first mistake is treating Overload like normal possession game. Yes, you'll see a lot of players around the ball, but the purpose is different. Overload is about creating a numerical advantage around a small area. So if you have the ball here, your teammates will naturally move towards this area and give you multiple short passing options. That means you shouldn't immediately look for a huge through ball. Instead, use the players around you. Pass, move, pass again, and keep shifting the ball until the opponent's shape starts collapsing. The crowd around the ball is actually your biggest weapon. Tip 2. Play short passes when the team is compact. This is where overload becomes really dangerous. When your players are close together, you can constantly create little passing triangles. One opponent presses you, pass to the next player. Another defender comes, one touch it to the third player. The opponent keeps following the ball, and eventually someone becomes free. So don't panic when you see a lot of players around you. That's exactly what overload wants. The mistake is trying to escape that crowd with a random long pass. If the team is compact, take advantage of it. Tip 3. Don't force the attack through the crowded area. Now here's the opposite. Overload creates numerical superiority around the ball, but that doesn't mean you have to attack through that area. If the opponent completely collapses on your side, look for the space they left behind. For example, you have 5 players around the ball. The opponent sends 4 or 5 players towards them. That means somewhere else there is space. So use the overload to attract defenders, then switch the ball when the opportunity appears. Think of it like this: overload the area, attract defenders, find the free player. That's much more effective than blindly passing inside the crowd. Tip 4. When you lose the ball, don't panic. This is probably the biggest difference between overload and other playstyles. When you lose possession, your nearby players don't simply run back and reset. They aggressively react towards the ball. So your first instinct shouldn't be, "Oh no, they have the ball." Instead, understand what is happening. Your players are trying to win it back immediately, and if the opponent receives the ball in a crowded area, you can have 3, 4, sometimes even more players around him. So use that pressure. Don't immediately drag your defensive midfielder away from the ball. Let the nearby players do their job. Tip 5. Don't press with every player manually. This is where overload can punish you. The playstyle already creates aggressive pressure. If you start manually dragging every defender towards the ball, you can completely destroy your defensive shape. One player gets pulled out, then another, and suddenly, one simple pass destroys your entire defense. So when pressing, control the player who actually needs to make the challenge. Don't turn every defender into a ball hunter. Let the overload movement create the pressure. Your job is to control the important player. Tip 6. Learn when to counter after winning the ball. Here's one of the best things about overload. The playstyle doesn't force you to play only one way after winning possession. You have 2 choices. If you win the ball in midfield and there are teammates around you, you can continue playing short passes. That's the safe option. But if you win the ball high up the pitch and your attackers are already moving forward, go. Don't slow the attack down unnecessarily. The players are already in advanced positions because of the overload movement. So after winning the ball, look forward first. If the counter is there, take it. If it isn't, recycle possession. Tip 7. Use the overload to create 2v1 and 3v2 situations. Don't just think about having more players. Think about what that numerical advantage actually gives you. For example, if your winger has the ball and 2 teammates are nearby, you can create a 3v2 situation. The opponent can only control 1 player at a time. So use your extra player. Pass around the defender, move, receive, pass again. The goal isn't to dribble through 5 defenders. The goal is to make the opponent constantly choose, who do I mark? And eventually, they choose wrong. Tip 8. Your defensive line is your biggest risk. This is the part you absolutely need to understand before using overload. When your team pushes aggressively towards the ball, your defensive line can become very high. That is great when you win the ball. But if the opponent breaks your pressure, there can be a huge amount of space behind you, especially against fast attackers. So don't blindly press everything. If you know you cannot win the ball, stop chasing. Switch to the defender who is covering the dangerous space. Sometimes the best defensive decision isn't winning the ball, it's preventing the opponent from getting behind you. Tip 9. Don't use overload. If you're going to play like long ball counter, this is a simple one. If you're used to long ball counter, your natural instinct is probably lose the ball, drop back, protect the space, defend. Overload doesn't work like that. Overload wants your team to be aggressive around the ball, so if you constantly pull everyone backwards, you're basically fighting against your own playstyle. You need to accept that the team will move differently. More players around the ball, more aggressive pressing, more compact passing, higher defensive positioning. Once you understand that, the playstyle starts making much more sense. Tip 10. Follow the ball, not a script. Don't memorize. Always pass short. Always counter. Always press. Always switch sides. That's not how overload works. Instead, read where the ball is and where your numerical advantage is. If you have more players around the ball, use short passes. If the opponent collapses, switch the play. If you win the ball high, counter. If the opponent escapes your press, protect the space. If you lose the ball, use the nearby players to press. That's the entire idea. Overload gives you numbers around the ball. What you do with those numbers is up to you. So those are the 10 tips for overload. The playstyle is extremely aggressive, but that's also what makes it interesting. You're basically trying to create advantages around the ball, and then use those advantages to either keep possession, win the ball back, or immediately attack. Try these tips before judging the playstyle, and once you get comfortable with the movement, that's when overload becomes really dangerous.